Ladies and gentlemen, City Skylines, glad to have everyone back. Smash that like button if you're happy to have me back. Happy to be back. Happy to be here. Today we're picking up here on our main menu as I'm going to go ahead and get into some of the assets and mods and whatnot that I have installed. Seeing as how that's got to be the #1 question that I get on all my videos. So let's get started with that. We will dive into the city here shortly. If you choose to skip ahead, that's no problem at all. I've also left a link down in the description below for the complete mod list and asset list, as well as my city thus far on the Steam Workshop. So definitely go ahead. You're going to want to subscribe and download all of the little assets there that go along with it. If you don't have them already, you might have some of them, but yeah, so here we go. So Content Manager, I haven't really downloaded too many maps per se. It's pretty much just the standalone maps that you'd find when you loaded up the game. Currently only have one save game, wouldn't you know it. So next we're going to go into the assets. Now this is where we're going to go ahead, and this might take a few minutes. Some of them you'll see me use, some of them I can actually probably go through here as we talk about it and get rid of them, because I don't use, some of them are glitchy, and some of them were like you know, assets that were, like, as you notice here, 5 months ago, you know, right when the game first came out. So there's some of them that are not working all too well, but either way, let's go ahead and go through them. Okay, start at the top here. These are ones, like I said, you might not see in my most recent build, but maybe in my previous cities on my channel. You know, I'll just go through them slowly. If you like, you can pause them. And like I said, down in the description below, I've got a link to the Steam community. Give me your feedback on that. That's the first time I've ever uploaded anything to that. So there might be some adjustments that I need to make. And the whole workshop thing in particular is great, in my opinion. So best to take advantage of that. A lot of the airport stuff, and you'll see some of them don't even have thumbnails, so it's going to be kind of hard to decipher what exactly it is. And some of them are ploppable mods, others of them are growable. For example, this one here, this is like, you know, when you lay down residential, it will only, you know, spawn this if it's a level 2 home or whatever. It's not, this isn't ploppable. Some of them are ploppable, like this airplane here, that is ploppable. So it's kind of hard to decipher which ones, if you see something here and you're like, oh, I like that house, well, not all the time is that going to be something you can, why isn't this on? I like that baseball park. Not all the times we'll be able to plop it, but here's some of the FedEx buildings I used. I find that fitting because when I go over by my airport, there's FedEx trucks and DHL trucks and all sorts of mail carrier planes and whatnot all over the place, so I figured that was fitting for my airport. And what was that, Paul Brown Stadium, football stadium, some of the farmland stuff. Swimming pool, some trees. Haven't gone too crazy with the vehicles, though you can. There's some serious mods out there for vehicles. Apple stores. More farm stuff. Intersections. This is actually the main intersection I use for my city. Timbo's Clyde Ponder Plain Interchange. So if, for example, you just want to use that intersection for your city, that's what it's called. So, I don't know what that is. I have that rail yard in my city. What is this? This is a bus station, I think. Yeah, 45-degree park. I think that's an awesome idea, but I haven't really found any usable spots for it in my city. So yeah, I do use that quad rail intersection, which, to be honest with you, it's terrible. So I'm gonna have to actually replace that. Probably in my future episodes, I'll replace that. There's just too many trains. It's just, you would think by looking at that it's actually gonna work, but it doesn't. So the Yobadashi Umedia, I have that in the city. Pizza Hut, row homes, Dunkin' Donuts. This is the 63SQ.CRP. This is one of the main buildings, 63 square building in my downtown area. Seawall mod, I've given my reviews kind of on that. It works, but it's glitchy. When you scroll out, it kind of disappears, so it's kind of useless in my opinion. Transit terminal, I use that in my city. Here's another one of my buildings in downtown, I believe, somewhere from Frankfurt, Germany, I think. Some of these mods here, like you'll see, and for those of you that play the game, you'll know, like, if you download this building, it'll say, oh, well, you need to download these too. So these air conditioner vents, I personally don't understand why they can't just make it all into one, why you gotta download other mods, but whatever. Props, I guess they're called. Fishing pier, I got one of those. Parking garages, you see those used all over my city, especially my airport area, so parking garages definitely for the win. Commercial, more commercial buildings, Burger Kings, Chipotle. I don't even think I've added Chipotle or seen a Chipotle. Low commercial. I'll have to keep my eye out for that. Toll booth. That's actually I have in my main entrance to my main downtown area. Main tower. I don't know if I'm using that one. Extended docks. I'm not sure if I'm using that one. Growable apartments, harbor, container cars. Only about halfway done, as you can see. Music conservatory. I've got that laid down somewhere. This looks like, I think this is more like traffic plus type stuff. Speed limits, no left turns, parking lot, more parking lots. Here we go, getting into some of the airport stuff for those of you that want to build your own airport. I pretty much just went through, if you want to know what I did, I mean, of course it took me a while. I mean, time-lapsed, it's like 8 hours. So could you imagine if it wasn't time-lapsed? I mean, we're talking probably 15 to 20 hours of gameplay would be my guess for that airport, for those of you out there wondering. But what I did was I went into the Steam Workshop, essentially just typed in airport or runway, anything that you can think of airport, and I hit enter, and I went through and I downloaded everything. And then once I got actually into in-game, I tried to lay them down and find out what would work, so that's what I did. IKEA, spaceship campus. Oh, this thing is huge. This is hold on, mate. Maybe that's not. There's two of them. There's this one, and then there's the actual, like, it's the Google headquarters. The thing is absolutely massive. I don't know where the heck I'm going to put that, if I'm even going to. But another thing to note, though, when you download mods is most of them have a scale. Like, for example, this train yard is probably, let's say, 1-to-1 scale, because it has to be consistent with the way the railroad tracks look. But if it's something like just a standalone building, like some of them are 1-to-1 scale, meaning they look like they would if they were 50 stories high compared to everything else, and others are 1-to-3 or whatever. So you have to keep an eye out for that. So some buildings might look awesome, in a little snapshot, but then when you get them in your city, they don't fit at all because they're either too small or too big. So that's a lot of these things that you see here, like this building here. I don't know, it just looks ridiculous when you put it in your city. But more airport stuff. Same thing with the Skyliner hotel thing. Is absolutely huge. It looks quite ridiculous if you ask me. Unless you want it to be like your main only building in your city. But if you put this thing next to that 63 building that I was talking about, the 63 building is like comes up to about this high, like a quarter of the way. So it looks kind of peculiar. More parking lots. Bulldozers, airport lights. So I'm using those. These are the main airport. There's I think there's 4 parts. I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4 parts to the main airport that a lot of you asked questions about with that main parking lot and stuff like that. So you can get, these are the 4 parts. They're ploppable. You're probably, if you're going to want to do something like this, I know I got kind of lucky with the way mine worked. I kind of laid the circular road pattern prior to putting these in. It would probably be best to start with this. If you like the way that looks and you want your airport to be focused around it, start with these, get it down, and then build your airport around it. Because I got extremely lucky, but I really wanted to use it, and I was actually to the point where I was going to try to lay it down, and if it didn't work, I was going to bulldoze everything and start over. So fortunately, it did work. So more parking garages. These signs are pretty cool. I actually didn't really add too many. I could probably add more of these airport advertisements. Pretty sweet. Foliage, I mean, I like the foliage, but you could drive yourself absolutely crazy with some of this stuff, so I kind of went with the more tropical stuff, seeing as how the airport was on the water. I thought that was fitting. A lot of palm trees and stuff like that. This is, I got a lot of questions about this. This is an open underground metro, so you've got your subway cars and your subway lines. Well, this is actually open. You can kind of look down into it, which I thought was extremely cool. Probably not the best idea if it rains. I don't know if that's... they've got that one figured out, but, whatever. I don't even think there's rain in this game yet. Maybe in the mod or the expansion, maybe they will implement that, but who knows. More, this is Amalie Arena, actually, by where I live in Tampa. It's extremely accurate, like 100%. Like, I couldn't even imagine, like, the person who made this must live by the stadium or studied the stadium like you can't believe, because it's identical. I live probably 5 minutes from there. So kudos to this person, Gula. They actually produce a lot of stuff, so 100% spot on, that Emily Arena. Unbelievable. Oh yeah, this is the Apple campus I was telling you about. It's like as big as my whole city, and it's circular. It's insane. If you want to see something funny, download that. DHL trucks, like I mentioned, some hangars, DHL, and Serrata Resort, which I don't like. Actually, I could probably delete that. Well, there we go. So that is my assets. I don't know what this is. Mods. Unlimited money. Ground level camera. Tree brush. All areas purchasable. Unlock everything. Automatic bulldoze, which doesn't really work all too well. Precision engineering. That's, a lot of you asked, that's when you draw the roads, it gives you the actual angles and whatnot. That's what that is, so. Dynamic resolution. I actually use it. I'll show you what that is in game. Kind of takes your resolution of the game, and you can make your game hold a much higher resolution than your monitor can support, if that makes sense. So, like, for example, I have like a 27-inch just regular 1080p 1920 by 1080 display. So in game, like if I go into, we'll do it in a second, if I go into the settings, the highest I can go is that that resolution. Now, dynamic resolution allows you to upsample or downsample, so you don't have like skewing. I'll show you what I'm talking about when we get in game. And I think you enact that by using F10, I think. Terraforming tool, you guys know what that is. Infinite oil and ore. I actually put that in because of the our dig site, and I don't want to run out of ores, so. Traffic plus, I mean, it works, but I don't know. I just don't have much luck with it. I think it's extremely buggy, and it lags the game. So, I mean, everybody loves using it. They think it's the best thing in the world, but I don't know. I don't think it works that well. Airport, or maybe I just don't know how to use it. Airport roads, I use that with taxiways and runways. I do use American roads. I'll show you kind of what that means when we get into game. And larger footprints, I do not know what that is, but I'm going to leave it on because I probably downloaded it for some reason. Give me just a second here. I'm actually going to load up the game. It'll take a second, and I'll be right back. All right, we are back. We've loaded up the game. We are deep inside Capstonia International Airport. Thanks, everybody, for sticking around. And I just noticed we have way too many ice cream parlors. I mean, this is just complete chaos. Ice cream parlors. What the heck is going on over here? Are those zoned? Where the heck? I don't even know how the heck you're supposed to get to that. I'm not really sure I like the way that looks. I think it looks kind of ridiculous. Yeah, let's de-zone this. I don't. It's like a little smidgen of land that zoned up, but we're losing our little patio here, our little waiting area. So anyway, here we are deep inside the Capstonia International Airport, and just want to give you a quick little tour of the city for those of you that are new to the channel. This is kind of where we started, Port Carlton. It's our nice little rural slash, you know, suburban area, which is mostly just low density residential, I guess, if I could talk. What the heck is going on with this? I gotta come through here and touch up some of this stuff, but all in all, it's pretty just basic, just stuff. Kind of built this just to get some population to the city. You got our nuclear power plant over here, which is kind of overpowered. If you think about just this little area here, probably can downsize that. And we actually have our observatory, which I thought was pretty cool to add in. And moving around, our next part of our city that we tackled was this area over here. I've done a little modifications to this for those of you that haven't really seen much. And look at this backup of trains. I mean, are you serious? Look at this. For those of you that don't think you can get traffic with trains, look at this. And it's all because of this stupid intersection that I have to change. And this game is not paused, by the way. This is just how it is. It's just stopped in every direction. Look at this crap. Look at this. I mean, this is just massive chaos. But there's some stuff. I've kind of been honest. I'll be honest with you, I've neglected the city while I built this. So, however long it took me to build this city, I haven't done like almost anything to the rest of this city. So please forgive me, city. But this is our white sand mines that we built. This is our dig for our industry that I've kind of been slowly but surely adding some zones to, as well as our farmland area, loots I like to name it. And yeah, so we're looking pretty good here. And I built a bridge. I think I'm going to build some stuff out here. I don't know when, but... and this is our nice little body of fresh water that we're using for most of our water for our city. As you can see, this is... I had it down over here. Well, some of this is still over here. Oh, no, this is all the sewage, which is why the whole ocean is destroyed. But this is kind of where our fresh water is coming for the whole city, for those of you that are wondering. And let's see. Then next, we moved over here. This is our downtown area, as you can see. I've added some. Those of you that haven't paid much attention to the previous episodes, I don't know if I added any of this in the last episodes, but I did add some because what happened is as I built this up over here, there was just all the, not enough worker messages, so I decided to go ahead and add some more residential, which is what most of this is. There's a little bit of commercial spread through, and then over here too, same thing, more residential to kind of employ all the people. And as you can see here, if you want to take a quick snapshot, I mean, there's 3,979 jobs, almost 4,000 jobs in this area here. So I don't know what the heck everyone's doing, but kind of makes sense in an airport. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of things to do, clean up, and who knows. But also we built this, which has kind of been neglected as well. What are these messages that I see? Low land value. It's kind of weird, but this has to be kind of revamped. This was more so our like harbory area, like I don't know what the heck I was going to name it, but whatever. But this is like kind of our harbor area. We were going to have a lot of like little activities over here to do. So when the tourists or whoever comes over into the harbor docks here, they can actually have something to do. I've got my aquarium over here. And I was actually dealing with some issues with trash and stuff like that. And I was getting a lot of, what's the message? Not enough materials or whatever messages. So I decided to go ahead and put in some industry over here, seeing as how it was kind of a long shot for them to come all the way from out here to deliver. So we did that, and then we built the airport, which is what you most recently saw in the episodes that were on my channel, the time lapses. And yeah, so we'll take out a little tour here. For the most part, I wanted to create that whole I wanted to utilize this highway. And I figured no better way than to do, like, a roundabout, which is what this is. I'm going to pause this for a second so we're not... let's get off this camera. So I want to do my best to kind of utilize the roundabout, which surprisingly didn't take me as long as I thought it would to kind of get everything centered down. And from an aerial view, it's pretty spot on. I mean, there's a little bit of spots there that could use some work. But all in all, it's pretty good. And there's still some foliage I need to kind of work on here. So, save your hate for the comments down there. I understand that. I wanted to kind of finish it up and do some of it live. Not today, but some of it I wanted to kind of brush up some of this stuff live. So foliage is still working. I want to kind of do something over here similar to this. I think I like the way this kind of came out here with the palms. I think we can kind of do that in different areas throughout. So, but my point is I tried to get this done first, and utilize also the railroad track, which I haven't even seen a single train take it yet. So, so yeah. And this is the 4-piece ploppable airport dynamic, or whatever the heck they want to call it. There's this part, that's 1, and then there's 2, and then this is a part here, that's 3. And I think I left off one of them because it was like too big. I'd have to go through the menus and find out which one it was. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about that. But I decided to at least use this one here where the trains would come in, and then the parking's actually super cool. Check this out. If you actually go down here into Street View, you can actually go into the parking garage. Hold on, where's it at? I know you can because I've done it. Where the heck is it? I feel like a dodo head now, but I know you can do it. There's some entry point in here where you actually can go in and go up into... Where'd it go, man? This is crazy. Anyway, there was at least some sort of entry point way where you can go up in there and check it out, but I'm not finding it. Oh, here we go. Oh, you gotta... That's weird. I don't ever remember there being a wall there. But anyway, so see, you can kind of come in here. And this is, I thought this was kind of cool. So you can kind of go inside the building. There's roads all through here, so I don't know. I thought it was cool. And I really like these parking garages. They're actually pretty cool. They give the area some height. And that's one thing you gotta kind of keep in mind when you build stuff like this. I mean, if everything is just ground level, it looks kind of, you know, I don't know, plain, I guess. And this is actually a dig. This is all dug out in here. As you can see, I use a terraforming tool. I can't remember the problem that I was having with this, but there was some sort of issue where I don't know, I wasn't able to get everything working properly, so I got ahead and decided to dig it out, which turned out to be really, really cool. These are just normal, let's get out of here. This is just a normal airport, and then these are additional airport main terminals. And then I kind of connected this up with the airport roads that you can find if you go ahead and you, I'll show you where to find some of this stuff. If you go under transportation, you go under the actual airport tab. It's all the way up to the right. You have runways, which will draw the runway, and then you have airport roads, which is a little finicky. Like, you can't, there's certain clickable points. Like if you look here, like, see how I can draw one there, but I can't draw one there. So there's some little things that you quirks that you have to work on. But, you know, all in all, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. And then also you can extend out runways. So, like, this was a normal airport. You can extend out the runways and make them, you know, bigger. And what else? What else? Parking garages. You saw that. I talked about that. This was, like I said, that other airport part 2. Could probably rename some of this stuff. This was one of the Dutch landmarks. These are just terminal hubs that you can just plop down. This is another just regular airport that I've added to, and that's kind of the whole focus. If you go ahead and you add an airport, you can do stuff to it. By having the actual airport, you can allow for planes to come in and out. If you just decide to draw airport roads all everywhere, there's going to be no planes, so keep that in mind. This is like one of the control towers. Same thing with this one over here. Let's say that's a landmark. Oh, that's not even a control tower. It's a Dutch landmark. I don't know. Maybe that's just some sort of lookout tower. This is an actual control tower that I was able to get off the workshop. It's got satellites on it and everything. Fuel depot. Gotta get some tanks there. I don't know. I don't know what else you guys want to see. I mean, leave comments down below if you'd like to know about anything in particular. But all in all, I mean, this is just zoned commercial. A lot of you asked why I did that. They didn't see a point to it. Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, I live nearby an airport, and this is how the airport's built, with a lot of shops and stuff like that, commercial zones within the airport. Maybe not to this extent, you know what I mean? I kind of filled in the area here, but there's definitely office buildings. There's a lot of headquarters to companies, which there's no better, in my opinion, if you owned a business that you're consistently dealing with clients traveling in and out, what better place to pay rent than an airport if you had your office at the actual airport? I mean, that's got to be the best case scenario. You're probably going to pay inflated costs for everything just because that's how things are. Supply and demand, just like you pay more for a bottle of water in an airport than you would at Walmart or, you know, Circle K or whatever simple grocery stores by you. But I thought it was actually fitting to add in some of the office space and commercial zones, and it's causing a little bit of traffic, but nothing too crazy. The American roads, that was the other thing I wanted to touch on. They, you can't really tell unless I put another road next to it, but these roads look a lot more, what's the best word? They look a lot more believable, I guess, is the point. There's a lot more cracks in the road. There's potholes if you look around, and you can actually change. Let's see. I think there's, if you go into American roads, see, you can actually change the crack intensity. So if I turn this thing, let's turn it all the way up. The roads, see how there's more cracks? And if you keep traveling, you'll see potholes. Yeah, so anyway. Oh, I didn't even realize you can go in here and check out some of this stuff. Unlimited money. Pretty cool. And the dynamic resolution, like I said, if you do F10, it brings up this little menu here, okay? So what this is like I said, my monitor is 1980 by 1920 by 1080, I think, or something like that. It's not like a 4K monitor. It's nothing insane. Probably along the same lines as most of you have. So if I went ahead and I put it down to, this is, I believe, the native resolution, something like this, and I did apply. On YouTube, you're probably not going to be able to tell a difference, but I can sure as heck tell the detail level's just completely gone down. I'm using 2880 by 1449 or 1440, and this is going to emulate, like, I believe 1440p, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think if you go up even, you can go nuts with this. But then my frame rate starts to go. If you can look at my FPS as this goes up, like, that just completely tanked it. So you got to kind of find the sweet spot. I've found that this one here, 2880, is the sweet spot, and you can actually unlock the slider and make a more fine-tuned adjustment. I think it's a pretty good mod. I would recommend it. And then you can just do F10 to get out of it. Yeah, I don't know. Future plans, next, when we start kicking this off, I'm not sure when that'll be, probably in the next week or so, maybe even sooner. I want to address this whole nightmare of a pollution situation here. My thoughts were, and I'm going to do kind of something real quick here, if we go ahead and we kind of bring out, this is just a bad example, but if we bring out some sort of cove, like if we make some sort of like cove, like, again, bad rough example, but if we did something like this, my guess would be, I mean, it's going to look a lot better. It would kind of keep this in this area here and not, because a little bit longer, man, this is going to start flowing. This is our main flow through our downtown. I'd hate for this beautiful river to become terribly polluted, but some sort of like cove over here. It doesn't even have to be that big. I mean, or maybe we can relocate some of this stuff like all the way the heck out here somewhere. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do, but I don't like this. I think it looks terrible. And another thing I want to do is probably going to be the next thing that we tackle. I don't really like these islands out here. I'm thinking about getting rid of them. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a like residential area that's on canals. I know that for those of you, I'm not sure where everyone lives, but canals are awesome. So here's my idea. So this is just an example out here, and we're not saving anything. But if we go ahead and we just burrow some of this stuff out, like if we do canal line, and then we go all the way through, right? And then we zoned houses, and we put roads down in here like this. Again, quick bad example, but we can actually let water flow through here, and we can have houses on the canals. I thought that was cool. We can do something like that. I'm not sure where we're going to do that, but any ideas for that, let me know. I guess maybe we can do it over here. It's probably not the worst spot. The only problem with that is that I've noticed is getting water to flow properly. I had that issue over here, and even over here, the whole water dynamics of the game is extremely like on point and accurate. So finding the sweet spot for that is going to be tough. I don't know what the best approach would be if it's, if we have to do something like, burrow out something from here, you know what I mean, to kind of get the water free flowing. I don't know. But if you put this on, again, I'm not saving anything here, so I don't care, but the water's going to start to flow into here, and that might be our sweet spot, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It'll take a little bit of time to kind of get an idea, but all in all, I wanted to kind of give everyone an idea. I know the time lapses, some of you like them. I mean, based on the view count, I mean, I got better views and likes and stuff like that on the time lapses than I do my actual sit-down tutorial type deals. So I really don't know what the public likes. Personally, it's a lot easier for me to do a time lapse because I can just sit here and play for a couple hours and just hit the record button and then just throw it up. The whole sitting down and going over things with you guys, which I love to do, but it takes a little bit longer. So I guess it's all about, you know, what everyone wants. But you know, this will take forever and a day to fill in. But that's kind of my ideas. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in. It's a lot longer of an episode here. I wanted to kind of give everybody a tour, especially for the new subscribers. And maybe next episode we can kind of go through here and touch up some of this stuff, because we're getting a lot of these low land value messages. Maybe I demolish some parks. What I'm doing, and I think the problem is I'm adding just zone after zone, but I don't put any parks in. I never put any parks in, so that could be the problem. So I appreciate you for tuning in. Drop a like if you enjoy you know, the series, and leave a comment below if you have any ideas. Our city is kind of taken off. And I know it sounds nuts, but we don't really have, I mean, we have room, but if you look here, I mean, we're probably close to halfway built up. I don't want to fill in, I mean, I may put some houses, but I don't want to oversaturate this stuff, you know what I mean? But, you know, put another couple areas here. I want to do the canal thing, and maybe we can extend our downtown to over here as well. I don't know. We'll have to see. But the airport was the big deal, so we'll see everyone next time. Take care. Bye.